the Overman Warrior Podcast.
All right, Rich Hoffman here. This is, I think this is important to talk about because apparently public schools in Cleveland, there's a big news story going on in the upper part of Ohio where they're laying off 400 teachers. They have budget cuts because they can't afford them. And this is something I've been saying for a long time is coming. Everybody should have prepared for it. I talk a lot about the Lakota schools in Butler County, Ohio, where I live. And they were warned. There's a big debate about property taxes right now. It's alarmingly close to getting signatures to make a constitutional amendment to make property tax illegal in the state of Ohio. And it will probably, it's close to getting on the ballot in 2026. May not make it. I think lots of legislators are anticipating that it probably will not quite get there, and if it does get there, it won't pass. But then what do you do with the many billions of dollars that are funded through property tax to fund all these public projects? Schools being one of them, public schools. I've always said that a private model is the only way to go, and people need to pay as they go, and you got to fund it through other means. And taxation has been a terrible, terrible burden on society. Progressive income tax was horrible. I'm talking about a lot lately because it is right at the precipice. It's at the top end of its pyramid scheme, and it's not ever going to go back. The wishes of the New Deal, the fantasies of 1913, progressive sliding this under the door, was all done with well-intentioned thoughts of socialism that was popular at the time, and now people are burnt by it, and a new generation is seeing that the home values aren't there to buy, and they don't want to pay the taxes on properties that are overvalued to begin with, and old, for that matter. And so the property tax scheme thing is falling apart, and there's no money to get. People are failing the levies left and right, and they're going to continue to do that. And then now here in Cleveland, we're seeing 400 teachers getting laid off, and people are pretty upset about it. And listening to them, I'm not making fun of them, because some of these people are, I think they mean well. Public schools, I always say, is a free babysitting service for parents who quite aren't that equipped, and they fall in love with their teachers because they're extensions of themselves, and they want the community to pay infinite amounts of money for that security blanket. But a lot of these parents are in their 30s and early 40s, and they're still growing up. They still have a lot to learn about life, and they're insecure parents at best, especially these days. And there's no amount of money that you can throw at these public schools to make it work. And public schools have been a disaster. The kids are not coming out like Einstein. You don't find a lot of Thomas Edisons coming out of public schools. You find people who can barely read, they can't think for themselves, and they're detrimental Democrats for probably the first 10 years of their adult lives until they wake up and get away from the schools that were trying to brainwash them. And so it's been a bad thing, and people are tired of paying for it, and you hear that in some of these parents. And here's an interesting show. It's on YouTube, where this parent is on a video conference on this vlog. And I'll play it for you. And she represents kind of, I think, every mom in this category, the kind of people who are just out there levy supporters. They expect endless amounts of tax revenue to make them feel good about their kid going to school so they can live a life and have a free babysitting service into public education. And that's kind of what was intended when public education came about. They wanted to say, hey, bring your kids to us, we'll teach them, you go live your life. We don't want the kids to mimic the parents. We want them to mimic a worship of government, which is really, you get behind Dewey and all the progressives, and that's what they wanted. It's another attack on the family and for institutional education to erase that influence and then reprogram the kids. And you see it. It's a mass appeal. It's going on right now. It's just at Washington, D.C. at the Department of Education, and what a useless building if there ever was one. It was, and so all that whole thing is coming down. It's falling apart. It's never coming back, and people are tired of paying for it. So they're laying off these teachers. And listen to this young lady. I'm not going to make fun of her. It's tempting, but I'm not going to. They were warned, but listen to her. Listen to her thoughts. Listen to her, what she says.
City, bro. And if you don't know what's going on right now with CMSD, the school district has laid off over 400 teachers and counting in the last 48 hours. So over 400 teachers have woken up in the last 48 hours without their career. And I just left the parent-teacher conference at my son's school, and my son's teacher was one of them. And it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart for her and her family and her life. And it breaks my heart to know that she was such a staple of my son's life for the past year. And I've grown to know her. And I am just so heartbroken for her. And I can't believe that they can just come in here and take these people's jobs away because we are lacking money. Yet there's still people in office that's making 6-7 figures a year. There is a higher up for every single department. And there's departments that we don't even use. But the teachers that are here on the front line that are actually putting in the work to help develop these children and are the ones that's making an impact on the children's lives, are the ones that's being cut. Since getting this.
All right, so that's enough. You could go to any public school and hear the same basic statement. There's parents who fall in love with their teachers or their kids. They can't stay home with their children, so they invest themselves into the teachers who are there, and look at those teachers as extensions of themselves, and they expect infinite amounts of money to be thrown at them. And the public education system, by every measure, is a failure. It has not made a very good society. People are not growing up to become great people as a result of it, and we need to reconsider every element of it. So just on the failure side of it, that's one thing. Parents like this who are insecure about their own upbringing ability didn't used to be like that, but that lady is a product of public education. She was taught socialism in her school, and they have gradually accepted this idea that wage rates should be universal and people should just make money. You show up, you order pizza in the morning, you play on your computer all day, talk about shows on TV, and then you go home and call it a day's of work and you expect to get highly paid for it. And you expect to have lots of time off, especially government workers. And teachers, they have all summer off. They're disproportionately highly paid. And and people say they're not. That's the union talking. You have teachers unions that are out there collective bargaining for income coming off property tax value. And so that whole model is completely wrecked because you don't have a wage structure that represents value. So good teachers, bad teachers, all teachers are getting all kinds of they're getting the same. There's no incentive. And then to survive in that environment, you often have to adapt progressive politics. The unions are overwhelmingly Democrats. And so those who stick around over the years, there's a lot of people that get into it early on for ideology. But if you're going to last in your 30s and 40s, you're probably going to grow into something of a Democrat because that's what the peers are all like. That's what the government employment tends to make in people. And so you have a lot of people in that field who are overtly Democrat, teaching kids Democrat ideas that are too expensive. And so people are tired of the garbage that they get out of the education system, and they're tired of how much it costs and the poor performance, and so cuts are coming everywhere. And these 400 are just the tip of it. It's going to become much more. All these schools are going to have to compete. You're going to have ed choice, and it's going to drive down the per pupil cost because you have to compete with your neighbor to get the enrollment. So all schools are going to have to compete with each other to get to get the students with the money attached to them from the state, because they're used to this zip code model where whoever was in the community just got a check from the state, and that money went straight to the school. And now they don't know how to budget their books because they've gotten way out of their all their budgets. Their revenue stream is completely wrecked. And people used to pay it when the pyramid scheme was working on property tax, but now that everybody's topped out and the taxes are incredibly high, people look at the results they're getting and they're just not paying it. And now you have movements like this in Ohio, and you have rollbacks. The legislature in Columbus has been trying to get in front of this movement because they know it's a real issue. And it's not just a Republican thing. Republicans are advocating for it because they see the writing on the wall. And they're trying to ease off the addiction to property tax. Democrats have not come to a reconciliation with it. And now they're surprised that these public schools don't have the funding that they thought was infinitely going to happen. And they can't live up to these collective bargaining agreements that these union favorable school boards negotiate on their behalf, and all these left-leaning lawyers that run the schools have enacted. They anticipate that always perpetually people would be suckers and would continue to pay higher taxes. And that just isn't the case. And now in Ohio, we're coming to a real impasse, and they see it clearly, the state does. And so there's funding is being rolled back, and now there's these schools where they had to lay off 400 teachers in Cleveland, and it's going to be everywhere. It's going to literally be at every single district all across Ohio and the rest of the country. And the Trump administration is dumping the Department of Education. It's a rollback. It's a gradual mechanism. It's going to happen really fast soon. It's been happening, and people just didn't see it coming, even though we told them. And that young lady there, you can multiply her times millions. And there's just a lot of parents who thought that system was always going to be there because they grew up thinking that was perpetual and money just falls out of the sky, and that they didn't understand where it came from. And now they're not that smart at their early ages of their child rearing years. They're in their 30s, 20s, and they haven't been taught economics correctly, and they believe that people should just be paid money. And there's CEOs who make millions of dollars, and some of that money should go to these teachers that are babysitting their kids because they grew up thinking socialism was okay. Socialism didn't work. And they were the ones that bought into the phony baloney scheme. And now people are overwhelmingly not wanting to pay that garbage. And there's going to be major cuts. And this is just some of them. And there's going to be a lot more tears to come because that's the nature of reality. And when you build a system around confiscated wealth, and people get tired of having their wealth confiscated, then what? You get what you're getting. And it's going to become the main consideration in public education for many years to come. And any money that does come out of the state is going to go to the kids, and schools are going to have to compete for it. And that's the model of the future. And everybody better get used to it now. And it would be good if you want to mentor your child, do it as a parent. Don't look to a teacher to do it for you. That's problem number one. And parents like that might be scared, might bond with their teachers, but they're not paying for them. The community is. And that was socialism, how it was created, and it's given us a bad education policy that has not served the United States well. And if you want a strong country, you have to have strong people that are smart and know how to do things, and the public schools have not done that. And the game is over as far as perpetual funding for it. It will never go back to what it was. It's going to roll back for many years, and there's going to be a lot of adjustments that are going to have to be made. And there's going to be a lot of teachers or a lot of parents like that. They're going to have a lot of hurt feelings, but that's not going to change the nature of reality. And you can't say you weren't warned, because everybody certainly was. I've certainly been saying it for a long time. And everybody lashed out. They didn't want to hear it. They want to call you names for making them see reality, but tried to tell them, and they just didn't listen. And now the grim reality is on their doorstep, and they're going to cry a lot. And that's just the way it goes. Anyway, it's Rich Hoffman here. Share, subscribe, make tomorrow a better day. If you ever read my book, The Gunfighter's Guide to Business, I think you'll love it. Anyway, have a good day. See you later.
Thank you for listening. Coming soon, the politics of heaven.